So the last one is gonna be checking for the radial head here. So finding out the radial head or radial side, we're just gonna push on the radial head. One of these will not move, whether it's with the thumb contact going from P to A or A to P. Doesn't like that P to A motion. So we're gonna come behind the patient. What we're gonna do with our indifferent hand is going to internally rotate the arm while we're back here. Thumb will be behind the radial head, pushing P to A. So we're gonna adjust over our thumb contact. So the thumb is here, bring the arm back, internally rotate, and push the impulse over the top of that. For this next one, we're gonna contact the patient's great toe or big toe. So we're gonna take like a corkscrew pull grip on the toe, supporting the rest of the foot. I'm gonna rotate each way. At end feel, when I feel it, that's gonna be the impulse. I'm gonna go the other way, impulse, supporting over the top with that distal part, pull, and adjust over the top of that as well for the impulse. So pull down, impulse there, support the top, and then impulse up, almost like you're dropping. So the patient's gonna have the foot lifted up, and then as the foot gravity contacts, you're gonna pull down. So for the next one, we're gonna assess the patient's fibular head on the right side here. So as the patient has their knees bent for me, we're going to roll the patient's pant leg up so I can get to the fibular head. We're gonna contact it. We're just gonna thumb over thumb push front to back, so that A to P motion, and then almost using a finger contact and pull, and seeing as it go from P to A. It has a hard time going P to A, which most people are stuck in that position anyway. Or the patient flip to their stomach for me, or for us. So again, on this right side here, we're gonna contact that fibular head, shoulder to the knee, contact with piezoform, reinforce with the piezoform, long axis traction down, so the hands are pulling down, which is gonna brace with that shoulder, and it's gonna be a P to A adjustment with a long axis distraction. So for the next one, we're gonna do an LAD pull of the patient's leg here. We're gonna check for intra-rotation or external rotation of the hip and the ankle. Doesn't like the intra-rotation for the hip, which most people really don't like intra-rotation, so that's not a big surprise. So we're gonna wax on the patient's leg here, grip, almost like holding a baseball bat. You're gonna LAD distract, or almost like you're trying to like water ski and have someone hold the boat. Lean back into that nice seated toe war position, and then have an LAD pull at the bottom. So for the next one, we're gonna do an LAD of the patient's right leg here. So we're gonna see which way does the patient not wanna go. Doesn't like intra-rotation. Most people really don't like the intra-rotation anyway. So we're gonna do like the wax on, wax off with our hands here. So patient come this way, get a nice grip right above that ankle, lean back like a tug of war, almost like you're trying to water ski to get a good LAD distraction. Lean, once you feel that end, you're gonna have an impulse LAD pull. This next adjustment is gonna be for the TL junction area. So a patient's gonna have their hands go above their head or their shoulders for me again, underneath, so we can just check. That TL doesn't wanna go into that extension motion. So we're gonna take a thoracic board that we have here. We're gonna stick it behind our patient. We don't want too close though, so that way they can get up and over the board. So we're gonna slide it away, almost about a fifth width from the patient's glute area. Find the TL junction spot. Patient gonna cross their arms. Contact hand is gonna be that flat surface over the segment that we found. Patient gonna take a deep breath in, all the way up, land on the top of the hardboard, drop, and then come back up with a vector of A to P. Okay, next one we're gonna check for flexion extension in the wrist. So I'm gonna take my patient's wrist. We're gonna go both ways, see which one feels tighter. You can even go this way too to add a little bit more stress. Have a hard time going to flexion on that proximal roll. So we're gonna go fingers make a V, thumb over thumb for the impulse part. Fingers behind, making the V behind that proximal roll so we don't block it. Thumb over thumb on top of that proximal roll. I'm gonna the patient lean away from me. And then I'm gonna have an impulse going almost that P to A or A to P motion, as long as the LAD. at the bottom of the adjustment. The next adjustment is going to be for glenohumeral internal rotation or external rotation restrictions. So I'm going to take the patient's arm to a 90 degree angle. We're going to see which one doesn't move. That internal rotation is pretty tight, so as using the 90, have my forearm come across, other arm support, twist, and there's going to be 3 impulses down to assess. So it's going to be end range, and then impulse there, relax, all the way down, impulse there. So the next adjustment, I'm going to have my patient assess for right rotation restriction and left rotation restriction with some lateral flexion. So the patient put their hands behind their head for me. The patient lean forward, and I'm just going to press P to A, feeling for restriction. Feel some right about that T6 area. Then we're going to rotate them, pushing, and then rotate them the other way, pushing, or in that spinous process as well. So it doesn't rotate to the right. So patient then will lay prone for me. I'm gonna be on this side, but I'm gonna take a bear claw motion, torque, and then push. So finding my T6, bear claw over the spinous processes, torque down, breathing force. Patient will take a deep breath in, all the way out, and then the vector will be P to A to induce that right rotation. So right-sided TMJ problems, just comparing, have the patient open and close, open and close. We feel the dysfunction on the right side. So patient's gonna go to the left, resting on that indifferent hand, right hand contact hand along the jaw line, and then it's gonna be some LAD down for the vector. Seated occiput adjustment for left rotation restriction. So we're just gonna assess in here, like the occiput, seeing what moves. Blocking the front of C1. Blocking behind C1. So for the right rotation, or left rotation restriction, on the right side, patient's gonna lean their head into me. I'm gonna rotate all the way through to the end field. And then the vector will be P to A.